Imagine a world where every moment of your life could be shared instantly with thousands, even millions of people. Social media has changed the way we communicate, connect, and even think. It's a place where we can showcase our talents, stay informed, and find communities that we relate to. But is it all good? What about the darker sides? Privacy issues, online bullying, or the addiction to likes and shares? How does it shape our society, our thinking, and even our language? Hello, I'm David, and today we are diving into an important topic: social media, good or bad. As we go through this conversation, we'll also explore some useful English words and phrases. Make sure to stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll have learned a handful of new vocabulary to use in your daily conversations. And don't forget to subscribe to Speak English Fluently, where we'll continue learning new words together in every video. Let's get started.
So, Emily, social media. I guess we can agree that it's become such a dominant part of our lives. Do you think it's mostly good or bad?
That's a tough one, John. Social media has its benefits, but it's also been criticized for many negative impacts. For example, I've noticed how people can get obsessed with social media. By the way, do you know what obsessed means?
Oh yes, obsessed means being overly focused or fixated on something to the point where it becomes unhealthy. We can use it in a sentence like, some people are obsessed with checking their social media every hour.
Exactly. And with this obsession, people sometimes forget to live in the moment. I've also heard the word inundated used when people talk about social media. Do you know what that means?
Yes, inundated means overwhelmed by too much of something. For example, you can say, people are inundated with information on social media, and it's hard to know what's true or false.
That's right. Social media platforms are filled with so much content. Videos, pictures, news articles. It's easy to feel inundated. But there's also a positive side, like staying connected with friends and family who live far away.
Definitely. To be connected means to maintain relationships with others through communication. You could say, I love staying connected with my family through social media, even though we live in different countries. But, Emily, what do you think about the term influencer? It's pretty common nowadays.
Good one. An influencer is someone who has a large following on social media and can affect their audience's opinions or behaviors. For instance, many brands hire influencers to promote their products. Do you think being an influencer is a good thing?
It depends. Some influencers use their platform to spread positivity or useful information, while others might just push for consumerism. Speaking of which, have you heard of the word consumerism?
Yes. Consumerism refers to the culture of buying and owning a lot of things, often encouraged by media and advertising. A good example could be, social media can promote consumerism by making people feel like they need to buy the latest trends. But what about privacy concerns? Have you ever heard of the phrase data breach?
I have. A data breach happens when private information is accessed without permission. You could say, there's always a risk of data breaches when using social media. And it's a real issue because so much of our personal information is out there.
Yes, that's one of the big problems with social media. Many people aren't aware of how vulnerable their information can be. And what about the term echo chamber? That one's becoming more popular too.
An echo chamber is when people only interact with others who share the same opinions, so they never hear any different perspectives. You could say, social media can create echo chambers, where people are surrounded by only those who agree with them. Do you think that's harmful?
I do, John. It can limit our ability to think critically and see other points of view. And I think this is why misinformation is also a huge problem on social media. Do you know what that means?
Yes, misinformation refers to false or misleading information spread either intentionally or unintentionally. For example, social media is often criticized for allowing the spread of misinformation, especially during elections. Speaking of which, what about the word viral? I hear it all the time.
Viral. That's when something becomes extremely popular in a short amount of time, usually on social media. For instance, the video of a cat playing the piano went viral within hours. It's amazing how quickly things can spread online.
Absolutely. But it's not always good things that go viral. Sometimes it's harmful content or cyberbullying. Do you know about cyberbullying, Emily?
Yes. Cyberbullying is when someone uses the internet or social media to harass or harm another person. You could say social media platforms are working to combat cyberbullying by implementing stricter policies. It's one of the biggest challenges with online spaces today.
Definitely. But I think one of the reasons people keep using social media, despite the negatives, is because of FOMO. Do you know that term?
Yes, FOMO stands for fear of missing out. It's when people feel anxious that they're missing something important or exciting, often because they see others having fun on social media. A sentence might be, many people check their social media constantly because of FOMO. It's a major driver of why we spend so much time online.
That's so true. And finally, we should mention algorithms. It's a bit technical, but important to understand. Do you know how to explain that?
Sure. An algorithm is a set of rules or instructions used by social media platforms to decide what content to show you. For example, social media platforms use algorithms to keep users engaged by showing them content they're likely to interact with. It's what keeps us scrolling endlessly.
Exactly. So, to wrap up, social media has both positive and negative aspects. It can help us stay connected, but it can also make us feel inundated and expose us to misinformation or even cyberbullying.
That's right, John. And for all of you watching, I hope you found this conversation useful, not just for understanding social media better, but also for expanding your English vocabulary. We encourage you to think about your own relationship with social media and how it impacts your life.
And don't forget to practice using the new words we've talked about today. Whether it's obsessed, influencer, FOMO, or any of the other terms, the best way to improve is by using them in your conversations.
Well said, John. Now, let's hand it over to David for the closing remarks.
Thanks, John and Emily, for that insightful conversation. I hope all of you watching learned some useful new words and phrases that you can start using today. Social media is a powerful tool. It can be incredibly beneficial, helping us stay connected and informed, but it also comes with its challenges, like misinformation and cyberbullying. Before we go, let me leave you with one more interesting fact. Did you know that the average person spends nearly 2.5 hours a day on social media? That's a lot of time, so it's important to think critically about how we use these platforms. Don't forget to subscribe to the Speak English Fluently channel for more videos like this one, where you can learn English through real conversations. See you in the next video.